I'd like to take a moment to share something with you guys that I feel has been a great addition to my little shop here. And everybody should have one in some form or another, just for the simple fact that it really improves cleanup time and makes general work a whole lot easier. So, unfortunately, like everything, it's buried in the corner. So let's get you back here. What I have here is this is HP Small Wonders. I don't know if I'm gonna need some light or not. Let me grab a flashlight. So, get a flashlight that works, hopefully. So essentially, it's just a small canister vac. I mean, that's all the bigger it is, which is, you know, a little bit bigger than my hand. And then it's got, originally this was the canister here that captured the dirt. Right now I'm using just a 3-gallon bucket, I guess. And essentially all I did was I cut a hole in the top of the bucket. I actually got 2 different vacuum filters in there. I got a cone type one, and then, or a foam one, I mean, that's cylindrical. And then I also got one of the thin, like papery ones. And so this is my intake for the actual vacuum port, and then the other black tube back there, if you guys can see it, right there, actually goes up to the bottom of the, whatever you'd call it, the blower, the sucker, the motor, or whatever. And then this is currently, I have a vacuum bag in there, and that's actually on my exhaust for my vacuum. So that catches all the fine dust as opposed to pushing it back out into the air. So it's technically triple filtered before it comes back into my shop. And this little vacuum is tough. So I have just a regular vacuum hose that comes up and hooks into this, it's not heavy duty PVC, it's just a 3/4 inch 200 psi PVC, and I have ports throughout, and I have it come up and over, and I have another port here, another one over here. And currently what I'm using for a hose, this is actually from like a medical breathing machine or something, and it works really good. It's a little flexible. I'm actually surprised it's held up as well as it has. But if if I take my suction and then I put it flat down on something, the hose does one of these because it's just got so much flex in it, and this little vacuum has so much power. And the best thing about this vacuum is it is quiet. So that's as loud as my vacuum is, and I just use rubber corks to cork off whichever tube I'm not in. I didn't have to glue the PVC or anything because, well, it's a vacuum, it creates suction, so it's only going to cause those joints to become tighter, not weaker. So it's a great time saver. I can hook this up if I'm milling something that's nasty that I don't want throughout my shop, cast iron, GPO3, anything like that, even wood, even regular steel. I can plug in that, and I can prop my vacuum right up next to my milling head, and it will suck up a good amount of what comes off that milling head if you have it in the right position. So yeah, it's a great addition. Like, I don't remember if I said it or not, but this originally came out of a mid-80s RV. It's 1 horsepower, I believe. I'm not seeing it on there, but I believe it's a 1 horsepower motor, and it is an amazing addition. I think, besides the fact that for whatever the vacuum costs, since it's mid 80s, you can probably pick those vacuums up if you go to the right place for, I don't know, I'd say around, you could probably get them for $20, $25, and then you're looking at, another $20, $25 for supplies if you're a thrifty shopper. Hit the thrift stores and stuff like that for old vacuum hoses, whatever you need to hook it up. I mean, you don't have to hook it up the way I did, but it sure makes it easy, and you can easily pipe for $20 in piping, you could run piping throughout a small shop and have a port at every machine, so that way you can easily use it on every machine. It makes cleanup awesome. I mean, I didn't do the best job, but I just vacuumed this off. It was covered with milling scraps. I mean, I vacuumed off my milling table, and that's what's left. And I could have got better. I just gave it a real quick 30-second vacuum, and and it did have metal particles looking like that everywhere. So, and you kind of got to be careful with it too, because it will suck up a screw or a drill bit, or you name it, no time flat. Let me give you guys a little test run. And I would like to make, this is currently what I've been using. I have some small vacuum parts. I would like to make, like a little T-slot cleaner and some attachments. So, I mean, that's a pretty good sized bolt. And this thing will not hesitate. And now I have a bolt that I have to dig for. There's a couple of them in there anyway. And technically this vacuum is not rated for a wet-dry application. Depending on how you set up your catch can, if you were to do let's say a dual catch can where you have the hose ported into one, and then you have it split over into another, which actually has the filter, and then have a baffle in there just to keep water from sloshing, then yeah, I'd see no reason you couldn't use it for wet applications. I mean, I wouldn't try to empty a 5-gallon bucket of water with it, even though you probably could, just to keep the life of the vacuum. But I'm going to rearrange here shortly, and I'd like to put a dual catch can system in, because I do work some wood and some metal. So it'd be nice to be able to just, unplug and plug into a different catch can, or use a dump gate or something like that. And so that way I'm not, I'm separating my materials, because the wood I can throw in the burn pile as opposed to the metal. I'd like to recycle the majority of it, even though it's not worth, much in that kind of condition. It's better to recycle what you can. We only got one planet, they say, so at least until we invade Mars. So I just thought that'd be a fun little thing to share with you guys. It's well, besides my little foot pedal here where I control multiple machines, that's probably my favorite like my built addition to the shop anyway, something that I put together myself. So if you guys are looking for a cheap dust collector, chip collector, whatever, that's what I would recommend. It's been great so far. I do have some kinks to work out of the plumbing and stuff. I didn't tighten the suction tube that goes into the bottom of the motor, so it likes to work loose once in a while, so I have to check it every time I turn the vacuum on, or sometimes it kind of pops loose. And that can, you'd almost be better off with something heavier than, this is just a cheap Ace 5-gallon bucket, perhaps one of the food grade buckets, or a metal can would be ideal. But I have weights on there because first, the can's so light that when the vacuum turns on, it causes the can to move and then it breaks connections. And second, this vacuum's got so much power that we'll see if it'll do it. Make sure that I'm not sucking anything up. If you guys want to watch this. Well, it did it a little bit when I first got it. It actually almost turned that can inside out. It has so much suction, so I mean, you just watch the can go. And it does that when I have the nozzle pushed down on something, so that's another reason I try to keep an angle on it when I'm vacuuming. But just a thought to chew on. Bye.